Hi, everyone. I'm Kate with The Productive Teacher, and I wanted to show you something I've been working on and I literally just finished. This is a dashboard for a teacher teaching decoding for the long A sound. You can see here on the side are the different ways that we make the long A sound. We have the open syllable A, we have VCE syllables, the vowel team AI, the vowel team AY, these crazy vowel teams that are not very common, and then review, where you review all of it. And then across the top, I have the different activities you might need in your classroom. The first thing is always a whole class routine. And then for the kids who need extra practice, you can pull them in a small group, and I have tools here. Digital independent practice, these are just slides with words on them that I have recorded saying the word so that students can try to read it and then listen and see if they were right. Paper independent practice I can show you. And then I've got word lists and word cards that you can use to make more activities for your students. Let's look at the whole class routine really quick. I'm going to look at the open A. So you would project this up on your board. And this is phonological awareness. And you might be saying, wait a minute, phonological awareness you can do in the dark. That is true, but the research is showing that it's much better to do phonological awareness with kids being able to see the letters. So in this case, kids are not going to read this word necessarily. You're going to read it to them, but they are looking at the letters the whole time. So they're just getting more opportunities to see how letters make sounds. So here you would say, I'm going to say a word. You're going to tell me how many syllables. Cupcake. And then I would have my students hold up fingers to show how many syllables they think the word has. In this case, they would say 2. In fact, I'm going to change this to slideshow so you can see what it would actually look like. They can't see what's coming up. Okay, how many syllables in cupcake? And kids would hold up their answer, and then you would check and you'd say, oh, who got 2? Great job. How many syllables in pilot? And then kids would show their answer, and you would say 2, great job. And you would keep going. Here's a hard one, kindergarten. I think it's 4. Oh, I was right, 4. 5, this is a tricky one. How many syllables are in 5? Just 1. Awesome. How many syllables are in 7? 2. Good. And then, so we do 5 words, how many syllables? And then we do 5 words, how many sounds? So how many sounds are in box? 3. Good. So kids would again show on their fingers, and you would go through. I like this because it gives you a chance to review patterns you've already done with your class, but it also allows you to preload patterns you haven't done yet. So they'll be familiar when you explicitly teach them to your student. Again, the students aren't reading anything here. You are telling them all of the words. They're just counting syllables or counting sounds. So every activity has this phonological awareness practice at the beginning. And then it changes based on what sound pattern you're working on. So you can see here, all of these patterns make the long A sound, like an acorn. Today, we're working on that purple part that says open A. And then we have some information here for them. This is as much for the teacher as the students, just so they can remember what the important lessons are. A is at the end of a syllable. A makes the long A sound. Watch out for A making a schwa sound, like in the word zebra. Zebra looks like an open syllable word, but it's not zebra, it's zebra. This is another way I like to preload information. Your students are probably going to be learning about an open A long before they learn about the schwa, but they're going to run into schwas when they're reading. And so we want to just let them know, hey, A can also make a schwa sound. So we're just trying to give them as much information as we can to help them read as much as possible. Okay, next, here are the instructions for the activity. They're the same every time. Separate the syllables, read the sounds, read the word. For this, I would put students into partners. There are 6 words for each pattern so that each partner could read 3. So for example, partner A would read the first word, partner B would check their work. Partner B would read the second word, partner A would check their work, back and forth. And if a student needed help, their partner could help them. So we have every student engaged in reading this whole time. Okay, here's our first word. So we're not gonna say it this time because this time we are reading, and all of these sounds students have been introduced to in the reading program already. So that partner A would look at it and think, how many syllables are in that word? When you get thumbs up that everyone's ready to say their number of syllables, you go to the next slide. Okay, there's 2 syllables. Can you read these syllables? I find it's helpful to break it up into syllables as we're doing this first round of practice. You'll see we don't always do that. So partner A would read baby, and partner B would say, great job, you're so smart. Here's the next word. Partner B is thinking. Okay, I'm ready. Go to the next slide. Agent. Nice job. You would keep going for all 6 words. Ooh, that was a hard one. And then we get to our reading review. And so this is where we're trying to really strengthen those connections. We've introduced sounds, we practice sounds, and now let's review sounds we already know so that they're really strong in kids' heads. We're looking for reading automaticity, and the only way to get automaticity of any kind is repeated practice over time. So here, students are just going to read. You can have partners again work together. You can have the whole class answer. I would probably still have the partners work, so then each student has accountability, right? They have a partner saying, you get to try to read that word. Okay, so they would read these words. These are just counting backward from the lessons before the long A. So there's 10 review words each time. I think 10 review words each time. And so a pattern stays in the review for 10 lessons. If you need to review more with kids in small groups, you can definitely do that too. But this way, your whole group has lots and lots of review. And the review is the last part of the whole group activity. I'm going to get out of here and go back to my dashboard. Then we have small group practice. So this is practice for kids who are not becoming independent just based on the whole class routine. You can see down here, I have a review link. This is from our workbook. So you wouldn't do all of the pages in one day. This would be over multiple days. But you can see here we have pictures. They're pointing out letters. And then you have sounds, and then word practice, and then handwriting if you want. And then these are sound cards for quick remembering the sounds again. Okay, the daily lessons are different. Let's go with VCE syllables here. The first page has instructions for what to do. Here are sound cards that you would cut up. Now, every lesson has sound cards. You do not need to cut out the sound cards for every time. I would just have one set and keep using those over and over again. All of these sound cards are onsets because in this practice, we are using the sound pattern to create word families. So they're all going to have the same rhyme, and you just match onsets to make new words. So here are the possible word families for the VCE syllables. And you would just write on a whiteboard or a piece of paper, let's say ACE, ACE, and then you would line up your sound cards to show kids how you can make different words. And that's going to take off some of the pressure as they are working on decoding because they already know one of the sounds. And then to help you out, I recorded all of the real words that second, third, first graders would know or need to know here, so that as you're making words, you don't make a bad word, which has happened to me. Okay, so there you go. That is what it looks like. That's the same for all but the review. Here, the digital independent practice, as I said, is slides, and then a kid would try to read this word, check their work by pressing play. Baby. So they can do it in slideshow mode or in just this mode, either way. Apex. So that's nice. They can practice that as many times as they want. Here's the paper version. I'll show you a AY. Here, students are breaking words into syllables. All of these are one syllable words. They're crossing out any silent letters. That mostly applies to the VCE syllables or the consonant LE syllables. And then highlighting where we have the long A sound. Down here, they're reading sentences, highlighting the long A, and then circling the specific spelling pattern they're working on that day. And then it says, if you finish early, you can write long A words on the back of the paper. And what's our, okay, here's our word list you can look at. Just, you always need words. And then here are word cards. I would have these prepped. Students can use them for independent practice, partner practice. You can use them in your small groups. You can use them for spelling practice. Just always good to have word cards as well. Okay, and you'll notice there's some of these do not have links. Those are just when I didn't feel like we needed them. For example, we did not need another set of word lists or word cards for the review. You just use all of these up here. Okay, let me know what you think of these. Is there anything you use in your classroom that would be helpful that I could add to this? I'm going to be putting it up on my website soon. So go to www.theproductiveteacher.com and check it out. Thanks so much.